and the Google Ads account, and they need to be the same email address.
That's probably it. Is my Google My Business is probably, I know exactly what's going on.
I do
Okay.
too. It's
Thank you.
Your old business name and your new business name because you
Yep.
went rebranding.
Yep.
So everybody who's just joining us, because we just went live to share some of this as well, what you just missed is we already solved one Google problem today. So you should be joining us live. You can still click register and come in, or, let us know in the comments. We'll be watching to respond back. But today's session specifically is going to be diving in on Google Business Profile. Everybody here, raise your hand. Actually, this way, if this has happened, have you received a call from some random something or other saying, we're calling you about your Google Business Profile. We'd like to make sure it's been updated.
How many hands can I raise?
You've never had that?
No, I'm asking how many hands can I raise? Because I get that call at least once a day.
Oh, I got it 3 times today. It's ridiculous. So Rachel, maybe you don't want to connect it because you're not getting bugged by that stuff. It's almost as annoying.
No, but I do get spam all the time through my Google My Business.
Oh, there you go.
So reached out to, and it ends up being like garbled nonsense.
There. Okay. Yeah. So Lillian is the first one. She says she's got her set up, but if we've got time to kind of take a look at it, we absolutely can do that. Anybody else who has their Google My Business set up, let us know if you are interested. And because, hey, this session is all about you guys, trying to see what we can do to help you. Shall we dive in? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So let me do one quick thing here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some very quick basic stuff that I've got on mine, some of the newer stuff. And then we're going to start diving in. Lillian, we'll look at yours right away. And then other people, if they want to ask also. Okay. So first off, what is Google My Business? I believe a majority of people will know what we're talking about, but just to be on the safe side. What I just did, I went into an incognito mode because since it's Google, if I don't do that, I'm just going to see and show you what it looks like to play with it. If you search your own business on Google, what pulls up? Real quickly, if you're watching this, take a quick moment and do it. Make sure something is pulling up. And as you're doing it, I'm going to quickly also pull up the chat. And like the smart guy, I muted myself saying live stream, so I couldn't hear the feedback, but we're good to go. All right. So what should happen is you're basically going to see all your information about your business. And what Google, I keep saying Google My Business, that is now known as Google Business Profile. It's the same thing. That is what shows up on maps and makes your company show up like this. So if you did a search for accounting services near me, bookkeeping services near me, and you get a list of different companies, the way you show up on those for local type stuff is by having a setup like this.
Matt, go ahead and increase the size of this if you don't mind.
So we got a widescreen. See, that's the problem we were talking about earlier. Is that better, guys?
Yes.
So if I was to come in and just do accounting, I hope I show up right. I'm going to be really embarrassed if I don't.
Yeah, but you can see the other things that he's been Googling, like corners. You got to be careful about that.
So inside of here, based on area, these are all Google Business Profiles that are set up inside of this as how it's established. So if you want to be showing up in these, that's why you need to be setting this up. And it's 100% free to do. It gives you the ability to collect reviews, gives you the ability. These are some of the key things I want to touch base on before we jump into others, to do things like have questions and answers on these. This is super important. Tag your reviews. What was that?
You've got host controls. If you'll give me back co-host controls, it was somebody that needed to be muted having a conversation.
So yes, so as I'm doing that, what we're talking about here is the ability to, of course, have reviews, link reviews from other places as well. And then one of the most powerful things you can also do is add different posts inside of here. They just added the ability to tag your social profiles as well. Like I just did this a week ago. So the Q&A, This is a hidden secret I really like to take advantage of, and you're going to probably see some familiar names inside of here. Questions and answers. This is a way, once you've established this, to feed the beast. Use the search terms for your company, such as right here, do you help convert QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online? Thank you for asking your question. Boom. Parkway specializes in handling data conversions. So using keywords back and forth will help feed that beast the things that you do. So as people ask you questions, you answer back that way. And the secret is this. There are friends on here are all people asking me questions. You can't have them all ask from the same place. Rachel, you asked one up there earlier, but have your friends come in, ask a question and respond to them. This is ways to help you show up a little bit better in the search algorithm. Same idea with your posts. One of the best parts of having your Google My Business or Google Business profile is you can create these weekly posts. And the post can be a video, an image, whatever you would like, with some context to it. And then it will give you ability to link back as well to something. So here, I linked back to my 17 Hats form. Or you can link to a social media post, to your website, whatever you feel is best, or even registration for things. Keep in mind your keywords in here as well. And when I talk about keywords, you want it to sound organic, but these are areas that you can really boost up and make more out of it. So I've talked a little bit of time about some of the fancy stuff you can do for those who already have it. Let's actually dive in a little bit better as to like how getting things set up would work. When I do my same search and I'm no longer in incognito, what this will do is give you the ability to actually see the different aspects of your profile itself. So if I click into it, I can then come in and start to play with all the different settings. About your business, company name, of course. Business category. Everybody, this is an important one because there's going to be a primary category and additional categories. I found over time, if I did bookkeeping services versus accountant, I changed where I showed up in searches was completely different and will be more relevant to the type of people that are looking for you. So if you're a tax professional, it's going to be different than bookkeeping services. So you want to pay attention to what you're choosing first. That's going to be best for you. And then add a couple additional categories for sure. In here, we also then go to description. Hey, keep in mind, again, your keywords, describe your business. Make sure you're putting all this stuff in there to where somebody lands on it, you can find it. Truly, I need to update mine now, but put the information into it. Your opening date, you get to set this. That it's important to do that, of course, because you can show the longevity of how long you've been doing this stuff for. Contact phone number, website, like I was talking before, social profiles, you can add those in. The short name, I believe, is no longer something you can change. It becomes automatic, but we could try to reconfirm that, of course. And then this is an important one everybody always asks about, business location, because it's really, really difficult. Like if you're trying to set up your company initially, and if you're working from home, well, most of us are all cloud accountants, right? Which means we don't really, we want people local, but we don't want to be limited by that. And nowadays you can actually set it up to where you of course register an address to get your card received to be able to receive and validate that you own the business at that address, but you can then hide the address and do a geolocation range to offer services. That's totally different than in the past. The trick of the old school days of using UPS stores and all that stuff, it doesn't fly anymore. You're going to get caught for it. So that's your service area I was talking about as well. Where'd that just go? Choose where it's at, address-wise, you can fill these in. Business hours, set your hours so people know when to expect you will actually be picking up the phone or not. And as much as you can, you should be picking up the phone during that period of time. You really should, as much as possible. Then additionally, you'll have certain things you can do for special hours. Going further down, this is actually more important. So you have the ability with businesses, if you are a woman-owned business, go in and mark this. If you are, all the different categories, tag the ones that are appropriate about your business, because it will represent and show up on your profile. And they also, I do believe they do special highlighting, especially during certain months, towards those businesses. So it's worth doing it. A lot of people also like to specifically shop with certain types of businesses. So it's worth doing. Crowds, same kind of concept. Appointments, whether you require appointment or not, and you can set up a booking link to your calendar through here. And then, of course, from there, also language type stuff. So these are the basics of the information you can pull in. And there's some other stuff I could show you about sites and everything else, but I've been talking enough at the moment. So what I'd like to find out is I want to pull back, find out what questions people have, and then let's start to actually kind of dive into a couple of these and see ways we can show you what you can do with it by actually doing it. Does that sound good?
Matt, I'd like to both ask a question and offer up some color commentary. So technically, Google My Business is no longer a thing. It's Google
Business Profile.
Google Business Profile, but that's also not a thing. It's actually part of Google Maps now. And that's, at least all the reading that I've done says that it is integrated fully into the Maps app. There's no Google Business Profile app itself.
So what you said is exactly right. They still call it Google Business Profile, but there's no longer an app that you could do on your phone, which I personally feel is a big bummer because I loved it. It was easy to be able to look into it, respond to things that way. You have to go through Maps. So it is now part of Google Maps, just like Richard said, but they do still call it Google Business Profile if you're trying to do a search.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I will say the other thing that's kind of cool about this is it's designed to help you find local things. But I can Google a client's business, a business, 15 states over, and it still comes up. So don't feel like just because it's tied to Maps that it's tied to that locality only. I think that's one of the more important misconceptions. A lot of people are like, oh, it's only hitting my local. I don't care. I want to be national. It really is hitting the national market too.
It does. And keep in mind, you're going to link your website with this. So it's creating those different connections. Additionally, you have the ability nowadays on your website, you can have different, review capture widgets that will then display those on the website also. So it absolutely helps boost up. You're getting validation that you're a good business, and it will help you on your overall SEO all the way around. Guaranteed. So
Matthew,
yes,
I just really want to quickly tell you guys that I teach for a small local community lender, and there was a gentleman who reached out to me and said, I want to just offer you some guidance on your, Google search. And I think you had actually commented, I posted something on Facebook, and Rachel and I actually commented on each other's, we made a review on each other's, but you guys gave me some great information and a lot of what you're sharing now. But I was in the third spot in the Google search, and I tweaked my page and, woman-owned business. I linked my, my website, and now I'm in the #1 spot. I've got 3 reviews. And so it really made a big difference. And it's like, I would have never really thought about that as being something that's important until somebody made me aware of it and said, yeah, you can have your pro advisor profile, but having that Google search in that #1 spot is really awesome. I mean, there's not that many in my local area, but there still are a good handful. And just being in that #1 spot was really like, it just was, you got it, girl, So
Janice, what's the term? You said in the #1 spot, but if people search what?
just when you search for bookkeeping, that's what I had. I have bookkeeping and accounting. Somehow,
so what Rachel's talking about or asking about is what we call long tail keywords. So with websites or just whenever you're doing a search online, search engine optimization, the way that people are found is what are the key terms of your business? So when somebody searches it, how relevant are you for that? And it's still just as important on your Google profile as it is on your website. And it can vary back and forth based on, again, that category. So if somebody's reaching for bookkeeping services, that may pull up quicker, but they said tax services, you wouldn't, because it'd be a different category from that side. So,
I also linked my website both ways.
Yeah.
So if they go to my website, it goes to my Google search and vice versa.
that's smart.
So,
So there was actually a really good question. Linda Baker was asking, how does this compare to Yelp site? And it's amazing question. I'm going to tell you, I have a bit of a jaded perspective. I'm not as big a fan of Yelp because I feel that with Yelp, you have to pay. You can still have a free profile. You can still get reviews, everything else. But if you want to control like what image you see first and where you appear, in other words, if you don't pay them, they'll show paid people before you on a search. Those are things I don't like quite as much about Yelp. However, here's the key distinction. When you use an Apple product and you do searches, it goes to Yelp. You use Google and Explorer, it will go to like your Google reviews or enterprise verb to Bing. So since there are so many people that have Apple phones and use Safari, those are always going to default to Yelp, and you should have profiles in both places, 100%. Richard, would you agree to that?
I would. In fact, I know a few accountants who are not in the pay-to-play version of Yelp, and yet that is their number one source of getting leads and referrals. I can't stress enough keeping your Yelp profile in focus and fully filled out and connected with reviews, etc. Very important for driving potential business your way, whether it's local or national. The firm that I'm talking about, I was shocked, first of all, that they were getting as much business as they were from Yelp, and it was very significant. And they're a national firm.
Yeah.
So definitely Yelp helps. But I'm going to say it's one of those things. Keep your Google My Business profile in check, as well as your Yelp profile in check. I think those are two very important ones.
So Lillian, as I talk a couple more moments, do you mind making sure that you have your Google business profile pulled up to where we can dive into the backside? Let me know when you're ready and we'll kind of peek at that. And then Katrina, I saw that you would be more than happy to have yours as a volunteered tribute so we can tear it apart.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's really difficult for me? Well, I don't know. Like, what do you do, Matthew? Like, I don't want people to see the address of my home.
So this is a really good question. And it's something I've had to learn a little bit more about. A year and a half ago, I had an office space and I used that office space always for the business. It made it great. They could ping it and use that. It was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm working out of my home and I don't want people to have to to see my home address. I don't need people coming and knocking on the door. So there are ways to set up what your service area is. You still have a registered address, but you don't show it to people. So, and that is it's a different thing. It's something newer within the last few years here, really.
Cheryl's asking a good question in the chat.
The P.O. box.
Yeah.
It
is, my understanding is P.O. boxes are not allowed. And again, think about it from the perspective of it's tied to Google Maps. It's looking for a physical.
Yeah. It used to be back in the day, I think I just got lucky early and I was able to sneak in on a UPS store, but I've never seen where people have been able to do the same thing anymore because they're looking to see if there's multiple businesses at the exact same address. If you really need to do something of that nature, and you need to reconfirm this, but this should kind of work. Sometimes co-working spaces will work okay, or other environments where you rent an address. It's not a P.O. box, but it's an office space where you pay for the address. That is another option as well sometimes.
Matt, I'd like to address something in the chat. Heather said, I've found mine isn't even showing up when I search specifically for my business by name. Now, Heather, I happen to know you're relatively new in the industry. You probably have not set up a Google My Business profile. That is the first step. It's not going out and indexing businesses around town. It's
Well, so there's two parts to it, and it is a phenomenal question. There's two things that can happen. Google will kind of search, and if there are other online yellow books of that nature, whatever, there's tons of them, and they have your business listed somewhere, sometimes what will happen is they'll try to grab it and say, ping, we see this. But you would, if that shows up, you still have to say, hey, I'm the owner, and validate it.
Yeah.
That can actually lead to a mess sometimes. So if it's not there at all, it's almost better because you can create the account and register and set up the right way. An example of this is when I moved my business, I transitioned the address over, updated everything. And about a week later, I went to do a search, and now there's a second Parkway Business Solution still at my old address that I didn't create. And that is a whole different headache, because if people are searching and they see that, I don't want them to go to the wrong one and see no reviews and nothing set up. So I had to grab ownership of it. I waited to get the authorization, went in, changed the name of it, put it in the description, said this is the wrong one. And then I went and said it's permanently closed. But I made sure I filled all that stuff in first and left a link to where they should go to, just in case somebody gets a bad search and gets the bad information.
Got a hand raised, Matthew.
Yes. Heather, Phil, go for it, and then we'll go into Lillian's here. What do you got for a question?
So the question is regarding setting up the Google My Business website. When I initially started everything, I first made the mistake of not creating an email or a Google for my business. I started from my personal email. So it's still under that, but so I clicked on the icon that had the business icon, and I did everything. I have like the logo up there. I have it's very much of a newbie website. I'm still working on it, but that's not even showing up. And then when I just did a Google search for my business name, what came up is, where's that search?
Feel free to share
By
if you want.
Bizpedia, and it shows my home address.
Yes. And so I had the same situation happen a long time ago with mine, because I was the one setting up, and somehow, somewhere, somebody had my address for Parkway Business Solutions because I had something shipped and it tagged in it, and it had like a picture of the front thing. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? What's going on here? And I had to work within the system to get it fixed and switched over and update the information to get it to go away. So you'll need to log in, provide the updates. It'll take them a little bit of time to correct it, and then that should be fixed, no problem for you. But it was frustrating for sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay, thanks.
Lillian, you ready? You want to show us what you got? We got you on mute, unfortunately, at the moment, so we'll have you unmute and then share your screen.
I bet you that's
Are
better.
you going to look at mine, Matthew?
Yours is second. She asked first, but then we'll follow up to yours if you want to get
Totally.
prepped for it. Okay.
Okay, so I think you said to go through the back end, so this is the way I would sign up to see my own, is that it?
Yeah, this is perfect. So this is the Maps version. So the one I did is I showed you like a Google search, but this is actually what it looks like in Maps. It's perfect. So what I'm seeing here, what I like right off the bat, great picture of you, right? Top there.
I
Looks
don't know why
good.
this is here. Can
Yep.
I close this?
Let's try.
Really?
I don't know if it will or not.
Oh, well, that's okay. You don't need to see my eyes.
If not, I mean, it's a good point of maybe you want to shift a picture to where you can be seen. I
Yes.
never thought of that before, but let's go ahead and click where it says manage your business profile. And so this takes us back to that other view. Now, I will say when it was Google My Business, I liked it better because it took you to a whole different page where like you were inside of it. And it's like, I'm going to change this, change that. Here you have these different icons. You're clicking on each one to go through. It just doesn't feel quite the same. So I see we've got 10 Google reviews, which are amazing. I want you to click on the reviews because I want to see one important thing. Did you respond back to them?
I hope I did. Oh, yes, look, it looks like I did review
Good.
that.
So I'm sure people have heard this before. When you get reviews, it is extremely important to respond back. And always remember, when you're responding back, you are responding to them, but more importantly, to everyone else who comes and reads it after the fact. Really, really important. And when you can, as long as it sounds organically natural, don't forget to put those keywords, bookkeeping service, payroll service, whatever it is. Thank you. We would really enjoy working with you, with your business for all your bookkeeping service needs. It's just little tweaks that will help a bit.
Everybody was asking about an address. What I ended up doing was, it's a work local place where we just share offices. And mostly I get my mail there, but if I wanted to meet a client, I certainly could. I can get my mail there if I want to.
Love it.
But
I also love you've got your appointments there, that link there, right? So there's two things you can do. You could actually book it, like send them to your website, or just have them straight up pull up your booking calendar,
Okay.
which is kind of neat. So then let's scroll down a little bit more, and then we'll go into the edit your business information. So questions is a good area. So let's click on your one question.
It was kind of lame after I heard yours.
All of mine are, I'll be transparent. They were all staged. I didn't have other people ask me questions yet. I wish they would, but they were all staged. So
This was actually a client, so.
that's even better. So could you give homeowner, senior couple help monthly with our bill pay? So this is a great opportunity to talk about bill pay. And then again, responding back to it, but also be sure to like it. Any question they have, just click that little thumbs up. Mainly theirs. Yours is good too, but click there.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go. Because it should come back. So Rachel, I just recently responded to your question. Did you get notified recently through Google that somebody answered your question? It's probably like a week ago. We can go on and you can tell us later.
Rachel.
I don't know. So then you've got reviews that are popping there, which is great. You've got your updates, which is cool. Those updates are so important.
Comment on something that I saw. Can you scroll to the reviews real quick? Lillian, if I was a consumer looking at this, I wouldn't want to see a review by you on your own site. Am I seeing that correct?
oh, let's see what this is.
That was a good catch.
I don't think, maybe I did I was probably testing this.
Well, hey, stay with 5 stars. I mean, that's important, right?
Yeah, don't lower that. I'm simply saying not always good protocol to review yourself.
Yeah.
Can
I take it off?
I think if we go into reviews, you can actually,
Yeah.
so you should
Honestly, it was
hide
6 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing on Google.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay, just for the bigger, broader picture of this. And yes, you can remove reviews that you've done, but you have to go into a different part of Google.
Good point.
Okay.
Very well said.
Damn, I'm good. Even I know it. No, I'm only
There
kidding.
you go. See, own it.
You just put on there, you want a confident bookkeeper.
Yeah.
5 stars. And then, okay, so then the post, let's go ahead and click into your post and see what you've got there.
This one here?
Yep, that works. So again, the post, everybody, this is a really great place where, so Linda actually does a phenomenal job with this, that every time she does a blog post every week, she'll take the image of the blog post, come in here, do an update, put the image in, a quick little header about it, and link it back to her blog post.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And then see the little weird symbol at the bottom right there? Click on that. Then you share it to social media through here as well.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So, because again, their algorithm, they're looking for all these fancy, cool things. You can add events in, as you can see. You can do offers, and updates are more just about posts and such.
Right. Excellent.
You can do some video stuff in there as well.
What I love
Sorry, did you say it was an ad update?
Add update, yes.
Yes.
So
You said
and,
Linda does that?
The updates will last for 7 days, live on your profile immediately for 7 days. What's up, Richard?
when you are adding an event, what I have recognized very clearly is if there is a picture on the event, it's going to come right up to the top.
Yeah,
it goes away once the event is over, but they really highlight it. But the more visually appealing it is, Google is like, hey, we want people to see this. The less visually appealing, where it's just, hey, I'm having an open house here, whatever. It doesn't matter as much as if you had a picture of a house and it was right there up front on the event itself.
absolutely. And you know, when you're doing that stuff, think about YouTube thumbnails, kind of big
Yeah.
image, big words, nothing too like, don't fill with like the whole description of it. You want something like that is going to pop. People are more likely to click on it basically at that point. So one thing I think we should do is let's scroll up real quickly and let's go to edit your profile and edit business information right below your appointments link. So a little bit further down, right there. Perfect. So inside of here, one of the things I'd like to see you maybe come back and do a little bit later, if you scroll down, I want you to add your social profiles that you have. That'll be an important thing to do. Okay. Because that'll help link back and it's going to see the activity. It just kind of ties in that stuff in, which is nice.
Okay, perfect. I didn't know about that one.
It just came out, just did recently. So also, you know, it's not a bad idea just to come in here, click and make a minor change and save it again, because Google recognizes that you're coming in and validating and saying like, okay, this stuff's still legit. I'm still happy with it. It's good. The other hidden secret is once you've got your Google business profile set the way you love, go to Bing, set up your Bing and import your Google business profile. And now you've got it on Bing, you'll have it on Google, you set up Yelp, you're covering all three of the main indexes that way.
Perfect. Great, that was super helpful.
Katrina, you ready?
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Matt,
Yeah.
you just intrigued me with something that was a wild card I wasn't expecting, and I'm in shock. But I don't think I've ever used Bing once. So can you give us a quick rundown on how you would go there and import it? Because Microsoft products, Google product, they don't always play nice. Where is that import? Google
Tell you what, let's try to do this if we can. If Katrina, if you're ready.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
this is
share.
going to be disgraceful.
Okay. Richard, you're going to start to critique, so I got a couple seconds to try to pull it up, and then I can talk about the Bing after that. That work?
Let me share my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the first thing that I'm going to say is I looked on this side for numbers in black, and I am not seeing it on my end. And I am not 100% certain what causes that, why I can see some businesses and why I can't see other businesses. Because I wanted to prepare for looking at yours, Katrina. Can you do me a favor and increase the size? Because I can't read that.
That's why he needs a bigger monitor.
Oh, yeah. No, my monitor is huge. That's tiny. And she had it at 90%. See, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not. There we go. All right. So Matt said I'm going to be critiquing. That's always fun. All right. So let's start. First thing that would give it some flavor, absolutely 100% is photos.
Yep.
Google loves photos. Google
Loves photos. loves, like capital oversized L loves photos.
Absolutely. Now you've done a good thing. You've put your hours. I do love that you close early on Friday afternoons. That's fantastic. Good for you. And then you open up again on Monday. I am never a fan of the ones that are 7 days a week and it's open all the time. No, you're not. And
I am not a restaurant.
Right? You're not.
I'm happy to give you coffee, beer, water, whatever you want. I'll feed you when you come visit.
I'll just be sure to drive through and hit the window as I'm on my way in your driveway. Okay. So I'm seeing something immediately that you've got an edit that is in review. Can you tell us what you probably just did that in anticipation of this?
Yep, I did.
What'd you edit?
I was trying to upload my logo. I had to change my phone number.
Okay. So that's an interesting thing. My gut instinct is, and we can figure this out in just a moment, that you haven't verified your business on Google My Business, because I've been able to change my logo and my phone number and all of those things without it having to be in review. So there's something that's triggering that. Matt, you're dying to say what it is. Go ahead.
So when you make changes like this, it will say it needs a moment to review pretty much nowadays. And so, and it doesn't take necessarily too long. It just wants to validate like you're the right person that's doing it, the right person logged into it. So it may take a couple hours type thing.
It says 10 minutes.
Oh, got it. Okay. My apologies then.
But actually, when I changed the phone number, it was almost instantaneous.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Got it. Got it. One of the things that it did on mine, I had a Google Voice number that was attached to my world, but it wasn't a published number. It was more for my international clients. And because it's Google, and it pulled it right in. So I was able to pull that out very quickly. You got a good description. I haven't read it, but you filled that in. Looks like you filled in all the boxes. But I haven't done a lot of maintenance since.
I have not done maintenance for quite some time.
When did you get it set up, and when was the last time you probably touched it? Was it the same day?
2 years ago.
Yeah. My gut in. So
Oh no, I've had it set up for longer, but 2 years ago I touched it. And it's only because I was
the overhaul.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably time to do the overhaul again. Looks like you've got your LinkedIn in there, which is fantastic. What do you have under location and what's visible? Because I know you were the first one that said, I don't want to have my home address on there. Now, I know that there's a way, I'm not 100% certain how to do it, but I know there's a way to hide the address, but putting the address in actually gives Google a spot to put you.
Right.
And that's my gut instinct as to why it's not coming up for me when I search for Numbers in Black. I even put in Numbers in Black, Katrina Way, bookkeeping, accounting, zero, all of it. I couldn't force it to come up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how many others. So the name of the business is Numbers in Black and Katrina Way. See if it's coming up for anybody. We'll give you some feedback there on that in just a moment, Katrina.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't we hit the more button and actually, I love that you've got service areas all over the place.
Well, it's very local to the Inland Empire.
Yeah.
And then when we were hoping to get over to Arizona more, there's Arizona cities.
Got it.
Phoenix area.
Now, what's interesting is Palm Springs is my area and it is listed there. So you would think that I would be able to pull it up. So I am curious what the disconnect is there. But I think what we really want to do, and again, it's one of those things. I know there's a way to say anywhere, virtual, something of that nature.
Let's see if we go.
If you go back up to service area at the top, so go up a little bit, business location, click on that again. Okay, so nothing there. You're right. So go to service area and you basically set like United States. You can actually do a larger area also.
United States. Beautiful. That's what it is.
Oh.
You can do a county, a city, county, state, or US, basically, I believe are the options.
So I could get rid of
all the others, which would limit you.
I would leave them, but I would also put, so I'd put try a county or California first real quick.
Okay, even if we did
see how you got county there? Boom. Now it has that whole area.
Okay, so I could get rid of Yucaipa, Redlands, Highland.
Anything that falls
Yeah.
within San Bernardino,
Yeah.
San Bernardino County, yes.
But now,
So the only thing I don't know, and I'd have to research this, is it beneficial to have the county and the city names in there both? I don't know the answer to that for sure.
I believe that they're going to use a standard hierarchy where country covers the whole country. You wouldn't necessarily need to have the county, state, or locality because it's all covered under country. That's my gut instinct.
So here's the changes that it's going to be reflected that will come back. And just to kind of give you some feedback, Katrina, as we're going through these parts of it, I did a search as well as many of the other people in the chat. And what's happening is like you will pull up, of course, your business name will pull up, but we're not getting the Google business profile to pop. So
Okay.
you and I will let's work together offline on this. You know, I got you, and we'll get you popping and rocking on that thing. Sound good?
Hey, and Matthew,
Yeah.
now Richard notes, but I just hired an admin.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. He's all about customer service, marketing. It's so cool.
Sounds like we're all going to be trying to steal this person. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd zip it up. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
but also, no, he would love it. He's in the Philippines. So, but he is a young whippersnapper, but with none of the kind of like millennial or I don't know, Gen Z
Okay.
stuff. He's so great. He's so great.
I look forward to connecting with him at some point. Linda,
Oh, yeah.
I saw you had a question in there. So it's basically saying there's a national park with the same name that comes up instead of you on Google Maps. But if you do a search on Google, then you come up.
Wait a minute. What's the national park thing?
It's called Standing Stone for Linda Baker.
Oh, wow.
If,
How cool.
Since you and I
national
are going to
park
have some
comes
extra
up?
work to do, Katrina, if you don't mind stopping your share, we'll see who else might want a little bit of input, but we'll
Hey,
follow
wait,
up together.
there's one other thing I do want to ask about, which never mind. We'll look at it later. You go on.
I wanna
No,
address-
feel free to ask the question.
Well, there was one, okay, holidays, this crowd thing.
Yes.
So I go crowd, it's for that LGBTQ, it's like, you can either say yes or no. It's like, is there no other crowd? Like, aren't
from my
businesses
understanding,
a crowd?
I'd have to click on the learn more myself to be able to better understand if maybe they're planning to expand this. It's very possible that it's something of a newer add-on, but I'm not familiar.
Okay. I was kind of like, what do you mean I can only pick yes or no for only that crowd?
But the other one that Matt was talking about from the business identifies as woman owned, identifies as Black owned. Those are all going to be in from the business.
Yeah.
But yeah, my understanding is that LGBTQ plus friendly is the only thing under crowd at the moment.
Okay.
I do want to address something that somebody brought up, and I want to make sure that we're on the same page with terminology. And it was, I apologize. There it is. Linda Baker. Numbers in black comes up for me, but it's a little down the list. So we're talking about two different things when we're talking about that. You're referring to Linda, where she comes up in rank on the page.
Search results.
And we're talking about this sidebar. And if you don't mind hitting the X and going back one so that we can make the distinction. It's this sidebar over here. Nope, don't scroll away.
Okay.
Right there that you'll see often when you're doing Google searches. It says, hey, this business is here. It's closed today. It's not closed today, etc. So for instance, if you're using the Google app on your phone and you search for a local business, it will have, hey, this business is only open for another 15 minutes. And it will have, hey, you can connect with them on their website. There's even a call now button. And it'll reach out right to them. So we're showing this on a desktop computer, but on the phone, it has some great other features. And I think that's what they're designing the whole map experience to be, is a much better phone experience, because they're assuming that you're either going or looking for them or wanting to connect with them.
Well, because every time I'm trying to do it, it's usually because I need to get directions to them or something like that,
too.
or if I want to call.
So the Maps feature is amazing then, because I can just click the address, it opens up in Google Maps. And it starts navigating me there. And all it needs to know is if I'm walking or if I'm driving. So Matt, you wanted to go to another profile, I believe.
So because we're getting a little bit close on time, I
Right?
wanted to real quickly talk about the Google Bing's, the Google Bing,
The Google.
the Bing aspect of it. Bing, bing. Okay. Show kind of what this looks like and how you get to it. And then Richard, what I'm sensing from this, because there's obviously there's need to understand this stuff. Perhaps this is something we should do as another topic within Roundtable. If you'd like, we could even talk about doing that.
Sure.
And also, anybody who's got questions about this, you already know me. Just reach out. I'll talk with you. We got you. So,
Yeah, and you can reach out to either one of us.
yeah. So the thing about Bing, if you go into Bing itself, which I had to do to actually find this because I didn't remember, and I did a search for my business, this is basically what you're going to find. Same kind of a setup where it's got images, everything else on the side, the different reviews. It still has all the old Facebook ones of people giving my Forex. I'm like, so what do? Do I keep the 33 bogus reviews, which makes me look great but it's junk or otherwise? I like this because it actually does a better job of grabbing other places where reviews exist as well. So that really makes me look all fancy. With this,
I struggle with the same thing. I would like to mention that, Matt, because I have probably 30, 35 junk reviews as well.
Yeah.
And it's where somebody has gotten on there and said, hey, this person made me a pile of money and here's how, and invest with them. Garbage, nonsense, etc. I struggle with it every day because I get another one every damn day. So
I finally figured out how to get rid of those as well on the backside of Facebook.
okay.
But it takes a while for the other stuff to get updated. So, because it is annoying. So basically, we've got the information here. I'm logged in. I'm an Office guy, Office 365. I've got a Microsoft account. So with it, since I'm already logged in, I could then come in and I basically clicked on manage my business right here, like we did the other. Once that happens, it's going to then pull up. If you have already validated and registered, it'll pull up a screen like this. If you haven't, it's going to ask you to verify your setup. Now, you can see right away, I actually forgot to update this one since I made my transition. And you can also see it keeps creating a secondary one, which I don't get. I don't understand it.
That's from your old, isn't that, you explained that away a few minutes ago.
Not on this. Well, possibly that's what created because of the change. But this is still, like, I haven't done the sync with the Google business profile. It says it last synced, but it should 10:15. We're going to hit it right now. Bing. Let's see what happens. So, as we're looking to bring this stuff in, this is what the profile looks like. You can come in, update your details. It is nowhere near as friendly as Google My Business or Google Business Profile. I strongly recommend, obviously, do that one first. And then you pull the stuff in. How often do you want it to sync? Weekly, continue over. That way you can actually link. You're going to give it permission to do this. Stupid last pass. Getting my password because I don't know it. 1 second here. This makes good pod, doesn't it?
Matt,
Yeah.
I'm going to say we've all been there with passwords and password keepers that don't. This is not an unusual scenario. So,
Oh, I know. I always joke about it. I didn't pray to the demo gods enough. There we go. And that's why I also have 3 monitors when I'm doing all this stuff. That's why I'm going like this. So then you have to have your phone to validate it here. And once you finally get into it all, you'll be able to sync and link it. Boom. I do like that capability, actually, that it's done this way. I'm going to allow it. So, and like any of these kind of connections, you have to update them every once in a while to make sure that it stays connected. And it's going to basically be able to pull information for us. So from here, because we have the 2 different ones, I'd want to make sure I'm grabbing the right one to start pulling info in. I'm going to purposely just come back here. I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to do that offline so I don't have to do a whole bunch of extra work to fix it. So in here, you can then add your different photos in that you want. you know, if you have an office, doing pictures of your office space, you can do different announcements inside of here. But by bringing it in first, it's going to help with quite a bit of it first for you.
Matt, so
Yeah.
just to make a very clear distinction here. This is a separate product outside of Google My Business, but it is pulling in that profile to create a new profile inside of Bing Places for Business.
Exactly right.
Once
So-
it's pulled in, they're separate.
Yeah, this is Microsoft being smart, recognizing that if people have already put the time and energy in to build out the profile, why would they want to take the time and energy to rebuild it again for another platform that people don't use? So they said, hey, we're going to give a shortcut and you can suck all this stuff in and it'll help speed everything up for you.
Now, recognize that Bing is coming back, or actually coming into its own now with whatever the AI is that's built into Bing. It's gone way up the list on search engines. I do recommend, even though I just found out about it this minute, making sure that you've got the two separate profiles, but start in one place first. We know that if you start with the Google side, you can pull it into Bing, and that makes it so much easier. What's happening? There's a lot.
Alan just got something good. It was great. And so
we love Alan because he does that.
he called me, he said, Matt just said, this is an example of Microsoft being smart, right? Because I'm always picking on Google and all that stuff. And yeah. Yes. Have all of them. And I'm sorry to cut you off there, Richard, finishing your sentence in a sense.
Oh, it's fine.
There's one other thing that we can talk about at a different time. There are services out there that will help you get your content of your, they call it your name, address, phone number, website, having all that consistent, and they will spit it out to all the different online yellow books or the bigger ones as a service offering. So you don't have to go and create each of the individual ones yourself. And then if you need to update things, you update one place, it updates all of those.
Yeah.
And that really helps with your search engine optimization, building things and boosting it back up.
So we have about 4 minutes. Should we turn it over to questions?
Yes. And questions and giving something away, both. Who's got a question?
Is it a Bing page?
It's a Bing profile. So go to
Profile.
bing.com. So you actually get to the search engine is the way I know how to do it. And then try to log in. And Richard, I save the Bing for when I'm really happy, of course, when I'm talking about Bing. But,
Of course. Actually, I'm going to jump in one more time. We need to give a shout out to our sponsor for doing this, Forwardly. We definitely want you guys to be aware of what Forwardly does. I'm going to give you a very, very quick highlight. Using the FedNow platform, payments in 22 seconds. If they cannot send through the FedNow platform, they do send as an ACH at no cost. So some great alternatives for payments. They have just announced a new product. Jane in the room, would you like to talk about the new product? I want to make sure it is out there and you can do it much better than anybody. Do you want to take a moment and
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Jane. I'm from Forwardly. I'm the director of operations and marketing. Really happy to be. I've joined the last couple of free-for-alls and they've all been really interesting. And I'm in marketing, so this, even just this, you always learn more every time you're on a call. So Forwardly, like Richard said, payments in 22 seconds. Quick clarification though, I did add it in chat. We actually do free same day ACH. So if your bank doesn't support the 22 seconds, it's not just ACH, it's same day ACH. And we integrate with both QuickBooks Online and Xero.
Clarification, I appreciate.
Yes, it's a very important clarification because we only do fast payments. We don't believe in that waiting that 3-7 days, whatever it is. Our goal is you don't have to look at the word processing. That's our goal. But what we just launched automatic payments. So basically, any kind of recurring expenses, any kind of recurring client, you can add them to our platform. And either, again, you're getting that free same day ACH or the payment is going through in 22 seconds when it hits due. So that's the spiel.
Yeah.
I just helped Linda last week. So Linda won our drawing last week, which we're about to do. And I walked her through the process of the setup. It was super quick and easy to be able to get set up and start, handling payments. So everybody that's basically been here, we have got names on here, unless you came right to the very end, and you get to spin and see who gets to win a $50 prize, basically through Forwardly. We can help you set up. Oh, that's awesome. Is it good state? Is it good state?
Yeah.
So Lisa, I will connect with you actually and help you go through the process of connecting everything. And when you set up the Forwardly account, if you go about it that way, they will actually send you a $50 prize. It's personally the best way to be able to check this thing out, test it out, and you're going to love it for sure.
So Matthew,
Everybody.
you're all dialed in to set up these accounts?
Me? You know me. I'm a workflow master. Happy
You
to
are
help you.
good.
Congratulations, Lisa. And Karen Book is just joining us right now. Hi, Karen. We're all leaving.
Fortunately, this one has been recorded, and we even have it on my profile on Facebook, of course, or my YouTube channel is even a better place to go. So I'm going to do a quick self-promotion. Go to YouTube and go to Parkway Business Solutions or YouTube/Parkway Inc. And it's saved there as well. If you've got more questions, or if you're interested to even learn more about this topic as well, let us know and we can figure out another session to do about it. Our next session that we're doing, so we've got 2 more Fridays, don't we, Richard?
We do.
Beautiful. Next week, we are doing, the reason we've been calling this our Friday free-for-alls is next week we're doing our list of free resources, right? And the next week after that is our Connect. So
We are.
next Friday, what's that?
I said we are. So free resources on Friday. And when we talk about that, we're talking about all kinds of different apps, much like Forwardly, that you can use for free in your business that bring actual value. This isn't about trials. This is about what apps you can use for free in your business that will bring you value.
So be sure to join us for that one. And any last questions from anybody today?
I have one, Matt. What's the last session about after the free one?
There's a conference that's coming up. Connect, QuickBooks Connect, I believe, right?
Something like that, I think.
Where is it?
I think they're going to do it in Las Vegas. They're taking over Vegas at the Aria this year.
Oh, okay.
So that session, we're going to be diving in. I know there's a lot of people always give the tips and tricks and hints of like how to survive your first conference. Of course, we're going to be talking about that. We've been creating the list of the different parties because we know everybody wants to know about that, of course. Talk about some of the sessions, talk about tips of how to survive through all of this stuff and where we're going to be at, meet up. And we just want to have a great time and learn from everybody, like how do you make this a winning conference, of course.
I want to do one more quick shout out. If you look in the chat, if you're interested, Jane has just posted a live demo of the auto pay feature for Forwardly that will be next Wednesday. You can click that link and get registered for that. And we want to give Forwardly a big shout out. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today talking about Google My Business. So thank you very much, Jane and everybody at Forwardly. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend.
You too.
Bye, guys.